Well. Monique. Last time I talked about Monique was the whole bonnet situation. Everybody got it. They killed her in the comments. They killed her all over social media because she was telling women that maybe you shouldn't go out the house wearing a bonnet. You should try to dress presentable. Wherever you go, always try to dress your best. You never know what opportunities could be available to you, whether that be a relationship or your career. And just, you should take some pride in how you look. And I agree with that. I agree with that. I think that we allow too much laziness and too much, we accept too much of everything. And I think there needs to be some morals and things like that. And just lifestyles, that way of living that should be, enforced upon our children. We put in their brains, make them, want to look better, do better, be better, everything. But even though I agree with her at that point, I just knew eventually Monique would come back being who she is, man. And it happened with DL Hughley. So they had a comedy show. Who was supposed to be the headliner? What was promised to who? What? They're all confused, and they both came out of this thinking they're supposed to be the headliner. But DL Hughley ended up closing the show. So since Monique couldn't be the headliner, she took that opportunity to trash DL Hughley. She called him a B, called that grown man out of his name when he hadn't said nothing about her. She made fun of him for his dog and just started going in, called him a coon and all this vicious stuff. Again, he's coming out later. So this was an attempt to kill his show, to embarrass him before he came out. And it was done in such a vicious way. It was such a vicious, evil way. Like, when somebody playing around and being goofy, and she was throwing a tantrum. She was throwing a rant, going off. And so DL, rightfully so, felt the way about it. And was like, I was the headliner. This was my show. I allowed you to come. I said, okay, you wouldn't even been there if it wasn't for me. Whatever agreement she had, that was between her and whoever booked her. That had nothing to do with DL Hughley. So I had no idea why he was being gone off on. But DL Hughley's the star. DL Hughley's the name. She can't go off on the promoter because don't nobody know the promoter. She can go off on DL Hughley, and now everybody talking about it, right? And of course, Monique uses the tired excuses that she got where like, hey, I was famous once in this thing that was successful, so I should always be paid the same forever. I'm always going to be held to that same high standard. It's like she think once you get here, I'm stuck right here, you can't put me down. But I'm sorry, in the entertainment industry, that's not how it works. You hot and then you not. That's just as simple as that. Come on, man. Like you think that Cedric the Entertainer's getting the same checks he was getting back then? No. You think that Vanilla Ice is going or MC Hammer's gonna get the same check they got back when they was the hottest? No, because they not as hot right now. The reason why legacy acts like Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, and when they were still alive, like Michael Jackson and Prince, the reason why Janet Jackson can still come out and do big numbers and Mariah Carey is because they still get that big audience. Their they have a large loyal fan base. They are going to sell out big time stadiums. So any money you invest in them, you getting that back. That's what it's about. Doesn't matter that you accomplish something great. You can be Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, Star Wars, one of the biggest things ever. He's the most important character ever. He's not getting that big money for anything like he got, or what he could have gotten then. Because he's not producing that level of engagement with an audience that would justify a high demand of salary. But here she go again, want to start quoting old ass stuff because she ain't got nothing new to quote. And want to make you feel like, oh yeah, you're right, she was in that movie. But how long ago was that? And then of course, she wants to keep edging this thing on. No, even before that. So she comes out of response to DL Hughley getting mad about that. It was like, oh, my brother, I didn't mean anything. I didn't think you were a homosexual. You got touched by that. You felt that. Knowing damn well what she did. And now she's bringing up the fact that his daughter was I don't know if she was raped or she was sexually assaulted, and making up stories saying it was a grown man. It wasn't. It was another 13-year-old boy that she grew up with. And DL Hughley has touched on it before that he felt bad about that he didn't believe her at first. But to try to make this like worse than what it was and say, oh, he was a grown man, and to bring that up over a dispute of the ordering in a stage, like you wanted to bring up this man's daughter being sexually assaulted because you were upset that you didn't get to close? Because you want to keep on bringing up your old ass credentials of what you did 20 years ago and think you're supposed to get money for that now? You're not producing what you did then, so you're not getting that same amount of money now? And because of that, you want to get frustrated and bring up her sexual assault history? You who claim to love women? You don't love women. You don't love women. Not at all. Monique, you don't love women. What you love is to weaponize your status as a woman, as a black woman, and weaponize that to devalue any criticism that you get for your actions. Because you can't really argue with these BS arguments you got, because anybody worth half a cent will call that stuff out. Monique, that's old. Monique, you may sell tickets. How many tickets do you sell? Oh, you sell out? Where are you selling out? Are you selling out at arenas or stadiums? Or are you selling out at nightclubs? Then once you start asking these questions, you don't got nothing to fall back on. So the only thing you can do is start saying, oh, I'm a black woman, you hate black women. Is that why you're saying something against me? No, it's because you faking, you phony, and you using real life struggles for your own selfish need, because your career is a flop and you don't want to admit it. And now you go at this man's daughter over her sexual assault history, over some stupid stuff. You still got to perform and be out there. And instead of taking that time to show them, I should have been a headline, look at me, I'm killing it, you take that time to disrespect this black man in the night where he's supposed to be closing, and you think that's fine. I'm done with Monique. She is a poisonous cancer. There ain't nothing good about her. I don't say I hate her because I don't know her, but I can't stand people like that. This victim mentality, the woe ways me, the world is all against me. So I can be as vengeful and as spiteful as possible. And I can always put my hands up here. Oh, black woman can't say nothing back. No, you can't say something back. Forget Monique. Like I said, the bonnet thing, she was 100% on that, but other than that, her personality, her character, everything about her is nasty and toxic.
It's the WACCast podcast. Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.
Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.
It's the WACCast podcast. Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.
Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.